in it, meaning the myth, certain ideas which must have appealed to them, meaning the occultists like the Masons. The phoenix is linked to the sun. So the phoenix bird is a symbol of a rebirth to the Mason, and the state capital of Arizona is Phoenix, named after the mythical bird that gives rebirth to itself every 500 years. Phoenix is also called the Sun City. It is interesting to notice that others say that the phoenix bird lives for 1,000 years and then destroys itself. Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, the Luciferian, said this on page 617 of her book entitled The Secret Doctrine. The phoenix lives 1,000 years, after which, kindling a flame, it is self-consumed. This 1,000-year period is extremely significant for reasons that I will make known at the end of this lecture. I would like to return now to my discussion of the symbolic number 13. This is an advertisement sent to me as an inducement to join the National Museum of the American Indian. This is their symbol shown on the bottom. I'm sorry, let's go back. This is the first one there. That's the application. Here's the symbol on the bottom of their advertisement. Once again, we see 13 rays emanating from the center circle. So here we see the number 13 is a very significant number to the ancient mystery religion. Next, I would like to discuss other uses of the star as a symbol inside the Masonic fraternity. This is the cover of a Masonic Bible. This Bible is apparently a King James version with some other explanatory notes on Masonry in the first few pages of the Bible. This particular Bible was given to me by a man in Florida. The picture in the middle shows a young Jesus apparently teaching the teachers inside the temple. And to show you that this Bible is Masonic, this is a page inside the Bible showing the square and the compass, the two symbols of Masonic Lodge. And this is a close-up of the lower right-hand corner of the cover of this Bible. And it shows a star with one point down. Now, it's kind of hard to see because it's imprinted very narrowly in gold. But we're going to talk about that star on the cover of the Masonic Bible. The traditional showing of the star is with one point up and two sides down. So it is now becomes important to study the star as a Masonic symbol. This is a book entitled A History of Freemasonry and Concordant Orders, written in 1891 by a series of Masonic writers. This is the Board of Editors, a list of some 70 32nd and 33rd degree Masons who wrote or edited the articles inside the book. So this is official information that one can rely on because it was written or edited by some very high-ranking Masons. This is a part of page 49 of that book, and it explains the differences between the two stars. Notice that the star on the left was drawn with 2 points down, and the one on the right was drawn with 1 point down. Also, the one on the right has a goat. We'll cover that in a minute. The article says this, quote, "This star represents good, or God rather, all that is pure, virtuous, and good, when represented with 1 point upward." That's the traditional way, 1 point up, 2 points down. But then the article went on, written by the high-ranking Masons, but when turned with 1 point down, it represents evil, all that is opposed to the good, pure, and virtuous. In fine, the star with 1 point down represents the goat of Mendes. That thought is repeated on page 101 of the same book, and here's page 101, or part of it, and here's what that page says. When the pentagram, and the pentagram of course is a 5-pointed star, elevates 2 of its points, meaning when it shows 1 point down, it represents Satan or the goat of the mysteries. And when it elevates 1 of its points only, meaning when it has 2 points down, it represents the Savior, goodness, and virtue. And here we see the 1-pointed star pointed down, the star pointed with 1 point down on the Masonic Bible, on the cover of the Masonic Bible, and the question is why? This star with 1 point down is the symbol of the Eastern Star Fraternity, part of the entire Masonic organization. That means that the Masons have placed a satanic star on the cover of the Holy Bible. They have done so willingly because they know what it means when it shows one point down. Notice that I took that information from the Masons themselves. I did not write that. Masons wrote that. Now they talked about the goat of Mendes, and this is a drawing of the goat of Mendes. It's also referred to as Baphomet or the devil, or Satan the devil. The goat of Mendes was called Baphomet by the Knights Templar, and their leaders were accused of worshiping this god by the Catholic Church in the 1309 persecution of that body. Here is the same drawing of the goat of Mendes on the cover of the book entitled An ABC of Witchcraft, Past and Present. And to confirm that Baphomet is Satan, we can turn to Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, the occultist Luciferian, who wrote this on page 389 of her book entitled The Secret Doctrine. She said that Baphomet was the goat-headed Satan. The witches and the Masons know who this goat of Mendes is. He is Lucifer, also known as Satan or the devil, and they put that goat, that star with the goat on it, on the cover of the Masonic Bible. And to confirm that these people connect the goat with Satan, this is a slide of Anton LaVey, the head of the Church of Satan. Notice that he placed himself directly in front of the five-pointed star with one point down. This is a slide taken of the front of the Satanic Bible. Notice that the five-pointed star, once again, is covered on the Bible with one point down. This is a slide taken from the front of a satanic ritual. And once again, the goat inside the star with one point down. And lastly, this is a slide taken of the five-pointed star and a crucifix with the head pointed downward. The cross upside down is the universal sign of a rejection of Christianity, and it is in front of a five-pointed star, a symbol of Lucifer, Satan the devil, and also placed on the cover of the Masonic Bible. This is the tarot card representing the devil. Notice that they use both the goat as a symbol of the devil and the star with one point down. And here we see another example linking the goat with the worship of the devil. Lastly, this is a slide taken off the pin, or taken of the pin, of my social fraternity, which I joined when I was in college. This is a drawing of that pin. Notice that it also has the star with one point downward, and notice that there is a skull and crossbones just above the star, or just inside the star actually, and if you, above it rather, and if you count the circles around the circle in the center, you count 12 of them, and the 13th would be the main circle around all of them. This is a drawing of the new fraternity house that my local fraternity is building here in Tucson. Notice that they've conveniently placed an obelisk in front of the building. The obelisk, as you remember, is a symbol of the very presence of the sun god himself. And to show you that others appear to know the significance of the downward pointing star, this is an advertisement for a new clothing style called the New World Order. The customer is encouraged to buy a line of clothing that is different than the clothing of the past. Notice in this picture that on the model's left shoulder there is a star with one point down. This is another slide taken from the catalog showing this new clothing line. Notice that all of the colors utilized are red, white, and black, the three colors of the Masonic Lodge. You might remember that these were the same colors used by Adolf Hitler's Nazi party in Germany during World War II. It appears as if someone knows what all of these names, symbols, and colors mean. I do not know as of this time why the 5 points of the star are significant. One clue might be the fact that Adam Weishaupt had 5 things he wanted to destroy when he created the Illuminati. Perhaps this is the reason that the number 5 is significant to the Masons. Professor Weishaupt wanted to destroy or abolish all religion, all right to private property, the family. He wanted to destroy the right of inheritance and nationalism. So Weishaupt had 5 things he wished to destroy, and maybe that's the reason that the number 5 is significant, because that's what the Illuminati had to destroy to achieve their goal. Or it might be the fact that there are 5 major continents in the world, and since it is the goal of this conspiracy to consolidate their power over all of the 5 continents, meaning a new world order, it might be that that is why the number 5 is significant. Benjamin Creme, in his book, The Reappearance of the Christ and of the Masters of Wisdom, said that there are 5 retreats, as he calls them, where one of these ascended masters visited in 1976. New York, London, Geneva, Darjeeling in India, and Tokyo. Maybe this is the reason that the number 5 is important. There are other concealed uses of the 5-pointed star and other symbols in the things around us. This is a map of the city of Washington, D.C. The White House is shown on the left above the circle, and the Capitol building is shown on the right. Now, this is a descriptive flyer about Washington, D.C. that states that George Washington, the nation's first president, hired Pierre Charles L'Enfant to lay out the city streets when this government created the District of Columbia. Mr. L'Enfant was a major who served under General Washington in the American Revolution and was also a member of the French Masonic Lodge. As I've shown you before, this is a drawing of the Masonic square and compass, their major symbol. And of course, this is just the square and compass turned sideways, the same symbol. And this is a map of Washington, D.C., again, this time with certain roads darkened to show the square and the compass laid over the Capitol building. The Capitol building is inside the partial circle on the right side of the map, and as I've said before, the circle is a symbol of the sun, and there is a partial circle around the Capitol building. Of course, my guess is that they didn't want to make it too apparent, so they concealed the circle by making it only a partial one. This is a copy of the original map of Washington, D.C. laid out by Charles L'Enfant, and you'll notice that there are squares and compasses everywhere in the city, laid out in the streets. This is another map of Washington, D.C., turned sideways. There is a 5-pointed star with one point down drawn out on the streets around the White House. As we've seen, the 5-pointed star, when one point is down, is a symbol of Satan. I'm certain that these uses of Masonic symbols in the streets of Washington, D.C. is just another coincidence. This is a drawing of President George Washington laying out the cornerstone of the United States Capitol building on September the 18th, 1793. Notice that he is dressed as a Mason and that he is appearing in public with this strange paraphernalia on. So a Mason laid the cornerstone of our Capitol building. But we are told that they are not a significant influence in our public affairs. This is a drawing of another use of the number 13. This drawing is in a book Manly P. Hall, the Mason, who wrote extensively about secret societies. The main ring has a total of 12 circles on it, and the 13th circle is in the hand that reaches down from heaven. The hand in the clouds is definitely not the God of the Bible, because Manly P. Hall was a Luciferian. There are other significant uses of the number 13 in the occult. The Illuminati had 13 degrees inside its rite of initiation. A coven of witches has 13 witches inside each coven. A secret society called the Knights of the Golden Circle that planned and then started the Civil War in America in 1837 had 13 men running its affairs. This is a gallows currently being displayed in the courtyard in Tombstone, Arizona, and the hangman's noose is on the 13th step of the gallows. And I found another interesting connection between the Masonic numbers 13 and 33. I saw a drawing of an art object that reported that it was precisely 13 inches or 33 centimeters high. That means that there is a hidden connection between the metric system of meters and the American system of inches and feet. That connection was confirmed when I read that the metric system was created during the French Revolution of 1789, and that revolution was created and controlled by the Masons of the day. That means that the Masons of France introduced the metric system to the world and concealed a hidden connection between the numbers of 13 and 33. 1 meter is equal to 39.37 inches. Therefore, 1 inch is equal to 0.0254 meters, or 2.54 centimeters. Therefore, 13 inches is equal to 33 centimeters. In other words, our measuring system conceals a hidden Masonic connection between the metric system and the system used in America today. I'd like to bring our study of the number 13 a little closer to the present. The Federal Reserve Bank is comprised of 12 district banks and one Federal Reserve Board for a total of 13.